Good morning, good morning, good morning once again, Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique. Hope all is well with everyone this morning. Welcome to the mid-morning bus here on Classic 105.5, 105.9, and also we're live on GBN TV. Whether you're viewing on Channel 7, Channel 11, or Channels 20, good morning, and hope all is well with you this morning. We do have a special guest in studio with you this morning. I want to say good morning to Ms. Glenda Mason Francis. Let me say good morning to you, Ms. Francis. Good morning, and how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, and good morning to you and to all of you in public.
Well, it's great to have you in studio this morning. And today we're having, of course, a bit of discussion pertaining to the Anglican Mothers Union. And we know you folks having your 75th anniversary coming up. And, you're going to be telling us a lot about, you've been one of the retired members of the Mothers Union. And so I'm assuming you're going to be telling us how this whole Mothers Union started from where it's at to now. And I will be very, very interested in finding out about this. For years I've listened to you on Sunday mornings at the Anglican Church talking about the happenings of the Mothers Union. I've never met you in person, so it's nice to meet you. And always hear that strong voice giving out the various commands, as I would like to say. That commanded voice at time. Always is good. So thank you so much for being with us this morning here on the Mid-Morning Buzz. So it's the Anglican Mothers Union, their 75th anniversary. Let's take it from the start. How did the Mothers Union started?
Okay, before I go into that, I want to find out if I could just say something.
You're free to do so.
Now, we are all familiar with this saying, like, some people are born great, some achieve greatness, some have greatness thirst upon them. And we can convey that to the same thing with leadership. Some people are born leaders, some achieve leadership qualities, and some have leadership qualities thrust upon them. Now, I want to bring this to the mark of leadership. And I would just like to read, because it's very important in organizations, especially one like this. If you don't have the proper leadership, well, it would die. Mm-hmm. While visiting, this is written by someone, while visiting the campus of Purdue University on a frigid winter day, I came upon two young men chipping away thick ice on the sidewalk next to a fraternity house. Thinking they must be underclassmen who had been assigned the tough job by older fraternity brothers, I said, "They didn't tell you about this when you joined, did they?" One looked up with a smile and said, "Well, we're both upperclassmen. I'm the fraternity vice president, and my friend here is the president." I thanked them for their hard work and went on my way, having been reminded that serving others is the mark of a true leader. When two of Jesus' disciples asked him for positions of honor in his kingdom, the Lord gathered his 12 closest followers and told them, "Whoever desires to become great among you shall be a servant. And whoever of you desires to be first shall be slave of all." If there was any doubt about what Jesus meant, he reminded them that he had not come to be served, but to serve others, and to give his life to ransom them from the power of sin. The mark of true godly leadership is not power and privilege, but humble service. God gives us strength to follow Jesus' example and to lead his way. The paths of leadership are trod by those who humbly walk with God. Their gracious spirit holds a sway that makes you want to go their way. A qualified leader is one who has learned to serve. Thank you.
Very interesting there. Tell me, before we actually get into the deep conversation about the Mothers Union anniversary, how's retirement treating you?
How?
Retirement treating you?
Retirement is treating me good, I must say, but sometimes I say to myself, but why won't I just relax myself and stop minding other people's business? I find myself involved in the school, and the church and things like that. But I try to get time for myself and stay away from.
But it's difficult at times.
Yeah,
Being the
it's
individual you are,
difficult.
sometimes it's very difficult to just stay away. Staying away is just not a word that could be, you
Yes,
work with.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, it's good. But still know that you still have the ability. So sometimes it's still good. Once you have the ability, I will encourage. I know you would like to retire. You would like to stay home and as you said, don't mind anybody's business. But it's
and
just...
then nowadays, more and more you keep hearing the younger people saying, why all you old people don't sit down and give young people a chance? But, I would like to say, well, the world evolves. Everybody has their day and everybody has their time.
Sure.
But it's a good to have old people around.
It is. It
Yes,
is good.
to have
It's good.
old
It's
people
good.
around.
All right. So we talking this morning about the Mothers Union, the Anglican Church Mothers Union, the anniversary coming up. But before we get into the happenings of the anniversary and so forth, give us a little insight, if you can, about the how the Anglican Mothers Union started.
Okay. I have just a brief something here, which I would read.
Go right ahead.
Yes. Now, the Mothers Union was started by Mary Sumner, the wife of a chaplain in England in 1892. Her aim being to close the social barriers that existed at the time and to uphold Christian family life. It was not an easy task as she became aware of the poverty and plight of women and children at that time. However, under her able leadership, the Mothers Union continued to grow and became a worldwide charity. In Grenada and Carriacou, the Mothers Union started on February 26, 1948. The first Mothers Union worker was Miss Evelyn Mann, who came out from the UK. After she returned to the UK, the diocese was handled by Mrs. Irma Norris of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The first enrollment of members took place in St. George's on 26 February 1948. The second was at St. John's, and other branches followed. Today we have 15 active branches. As each branch increased its membership and the executive, that is, the branch leader, secretary, and treasurer developed, branches became more and more vibrant, disciplined, and very useful to their churches. Because, as they said, churches and organizations can't exist without women in them.
All right. No, before you proceed, the Mothers Union organization in the village. You're saying there are 15 now, active Mothers Union within the trial, right?
Each parish.
Each parish.
Yes.
Okay.
And some parishes have more than one. It depends.
It depends.
Yeah.
Okay. What does the Mothers Union really do?
Okay. Well, let me just comment into that.
Mm-hmm.
We are involved in all activities in our churches: fundraising, cleaning the church, ushering people, protocol when they need it. Among our members, we have our lay readers, lay teachers, members of the church council, prayer groups, Bible classes, and we serve the whole community.
Okay.
We have regular training sessions and when we train our members and so on. The Mothers Union continues to meet the challenge of attracting young women to become members of the organization. And the present membership is approximately 300 throughout the island, the largest women's organization in Grenada.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting to know. Well, it seems that it's how is we know that it is 75th anniversary. What would you say were some of the main accomplishments of the Mothers Union, if you have that info that you can share?
Well, again, if I was to speak about the St. George's branch in particular.
Yes, because that's the one you are more
yes.
associated with.
Because I know the St. George's branch some years ago started a scholarship program where we gave scholarships to students to attend the Anglican high school.
Okay.
And then also for some years too, they have been responsible for doing a program on Market Hill, where on Saturdays they gave food to people in need.
All right.
And presented food baskets and different things like this. Mrs. Pamela Stick has been very active in that. So again, they're hoping to revive it and keep it going. Of course, the past couple of years, a lot of things went into abeyance, and so to revive things and keep it going again.
All right.
Yes.
We know of the pandemic and so forth. Has that affected, how did it affect the Mothers Union organization? Did it cause a reduction in the membership or such like that in terms of also not only reduction, but did it cause, a slowdown in the activities of the organization?
Again, it did. I'm speaking from the St. George's point of view and my observations. With the past couple of years, a lot of things you couldn't go out, you couldn't move around as you should, and that you couldn't meet. And the Mothers Union involves people meeting, people visiting. You visit the sick, you visit, and this sort of thing. And if you have to help people to provide meals, and so you have to meet. So it did, but now I must say that, again, from observation, from what I've heard, because I'm no longer actively involved, things are picking up.
Okay.
And they're trying to more or less pick up the pieces and start moving again.
All right. No, I'm assuming the anniversary this time around, because you're saying, it started in 1948, February the 26th. So come the 26th of this month, that will be 75 years of the organization. I'm assuming there'll be lots in terms of what they'll be doing in the various parishes, the various churches around in the different parishes.
Yes, again, this will be the St. George's branch, more or less. There's Sunday, there's a Mass at St. Paul's and the St. Paul's Anglican Church, celebration. But I'm not aware yet of the details of the program of how it will be.
Okay.
But that will be launched, and then things will be said by the present president, and so, that sort of thing.
All right.
Information will be given out then.
When you back then, in raising the comparison back then, you've been part of it a long time. Back then, and raising the comparison back then to now, how do you foresee the organization moving forward? How has it moved forward?
Well,
how has it grown?
There was a sort of slowing down, but we're picking up the pieces. What is happening now, when the organization started the emphasis was on, let's say more mature, older people, married people with families and children. But that has changed now worldwide. You are involved in young people. You can come into Mothers Union now unmarried.
Okay, that's interesting.
Young, no children or anything like that.
So you saying back then it was primarily for individuals who were married.
Yes,
in the church you have to be married and have children. No, that concept is no longer really a single individual who is not married. You could also be part of it.
You are invited to become a member, and if you agree, you come in, and there's a training program and so on, and then you.
What are some of the various roles individuals play in the Mothers Union?
Mothers Union. Again, we visit the sick, visit sick people. You have a group in the church that will be visiting the sick people. And I said, members who are now not able to go out, again, you visit them. You have a group that will go to the hospital, visit patients, and so that the sick we mean in the hospital, sometimes other institutions. We are involved too. There is something here, let me read. In 2008, I think we started a parenting program with the training of people who will help to see about how the raising of children and handling them. And there was what we call a cradle roll program, monitoring children from infancy to introduce children at a very early age to spiritual values and so on that. So.
All right. Because I'm even being part of the church. Spreading the word is also very important, especially to younger people. As you mentioned, you visit the sick. I'm assuming you also will visit folks who are shut in and cannot,
and different institutions, with, and that sort of thing. So
all right.
That is what we are all supposed to do. Sometimes we fall short, but we're really trying to pick up the pieces and strengthen, the organization.
It's certainly interesting to know that. No, 75 years. Where does the future hold for the Mothers Union? If I understand you are retired individual, you're not part of the full everyday running of it as you used to. But what does the future hold for the Mothers Union, the Anglican Mothers Union? If it's possible, or what you would like to see, go forward with the Mothers Union that may not have been part of the time when you were fully more active into it?
What I would really like to see is unity among all members in the church and the various groups. You cannot do it alone. We have various groups in the church where Mothers Union is one, but you have to combine with like the Brotherhood, the youth group, and that sort of thing. And it's very important to me, especially, that the older ones and the younger ones come together. Like Mothers Union should be involved in like the servers on the altar, the young people, the youth movement. We have that, the Sunday school when we, get the children and you go and you try to teach them. All these things. Because the name is there, Mothers Union.
Well, I was about to say that. I mean, it's like being a head. It's like being a head of the one. Some folks say the mother's the head. In some families, we know the mothers is the head.
Yes,
so being the Mothers Union in the church, you're supposed to be the main organizers of most of these activities.
To
within
bring
the church.
everything together and combine them, That's what I would like to see happen. Sometimes now we sort of fragmented, everybody doing their own little thing and, But we need more unity.
All right. Well, certainly hope, with the 75th anniversary,
yes.
These things could be corrected and moving forward. We see a strong organization coming forth in the years to come. Yes. I know that will certainly make you happy. You understand? It would certainly make you happy that, you being retired, you could sit back and say,
yes.
hey, I have liked to see how the Mothers Union is growing, doing more than just the usual. There's something
yes.
just a broad-based usual thing that they will do. But you would now like to see, hey, they're doing this, and, expand in terms of what they've been doing before.
Even go beyond just the Anglican Church.
Yeah.
I think
Has
years
that ever been, I was going to ask you this also, has there ever the idea of incorporating other churches into the organization?
Some years ago, I believe the Catholic had something similar to ours. It wasn't called the same thing, but similar. I remember that. But then again, I don't know what happened over the years. But I remember there was a group similar to the Mothers Union in the Anglican Church. But I don't know. And again, it was mainly like older, more mature people than me. I was a child at the time, but I remember that, But I don't know.
Why are we not seeing that strong representation of the younger people being part of these organizations as it should be?
Listen.
What is not drawing them to it?
I have a problem right now. Again, as an old person, sitting back and looking on at things. And for some reason or other, I think in our homes, parents especially, we have to face the fact that it has always been said mothers are the one who really keep families together and that sort of thing. But I don't think we have that sort of role now taking place with mothers controlling the home and the children. A lot of the times now you hear, well, again, a younger generation. And some people, some mothers, they even say they don't want their children call them mommy and daddy. Some grandparents say they don't want the children call them granny, grandmother. It make them feel old. And that sort of thing. And I mean, well, what? That's your role. That is what you are. You're a grandma, a proud grandma. You have grandchildren. I mean, so I don't know. And they call a parent by the name, first name, this, that, and that. And another thing I have a problem with now, too, I keep saying, Lord, help us, young people now. There's a lack of manners and respect for people, not necessarily old people. People around you, because everybody, when you were growing up as children, was my auntie this, uncle this, cousin that, miss this, Mr. that. You didn't call people by their names, young children, that sort of thing.
But times has changed, eh?
It has changed.
Times has changed a lot.
And we know times change, but sometimes the changes you see, you have to sit up and say,
But you see, some folks may take you to task with that saying, times has changed to a point, but people have gotten to a point where you have just learned to accept certain things, what it is. You understand?
Some of us is difficult.
Just accept it and go along with it. Even though, as you being an elder, it may not be the right thing, and it may not be the proper way that youngsters should be growing up today. But it's just become, it is what it is.
And I learned to close my mouth a lot. Shut my mouth and sit back and say nothing. But sometimes.
So
yes.
I know the events are coming up. Lots will be taking place. You, of course, just come and share some of the information from the start of the of the Mothers Union to what it is right now. I wish we could have had some information shared about the activities that will be coming up. But I mean, that information you don't have to share with us this month.
Another time, one of them could come
in,
you
who is more active in the
yes,
in the organization now, could pop by and share some of the activities. And it would be just for the day. The activity would be the anniversary just on the day, or would be something that would be spread out.
Whatever activities, at least perhaps about a week or so, you would have different things happening. And even involving the other parishes, because there are branches there, you know. And
okay.
Sort of thing,
And I'm assuming each parish will be having their own little celebrations in between.
Well, yes, that's possible. Because also, apart from the parishes and then you have presidents in every branch, we have what we call island president, someone who is over all the different branches in the island. And over the years, we've had different people. Some of the people might, some older people might remember, like Mrs. Phyllis Austin, Mrs. Mavis Fletcher, Early's Byam Morissette. And then within more recent times, we've had like Mrs. Margaret Dow, she's also deceased now. And then more recently, Mrs. Pamela Steele, and the present island councilor, Miss Hermione St. Bernard. She's still around, so you know.
Okay.
So.
I'm seeing someone is asking a question for who is viewing us via our Facebook page, and they're asking, do the scholarship recipients ever come back and assist with the church activities, if you know of any?
Well, some of them, one or two, would have, but then others fade away.
Oh, man.
Again, I suppose, well, this is where we should have come into. But again, you're saying the young people, when you reach a certain age, some travel, some go abroad, and one or two might remain, but yes.
Oh, man. Anyway, I certainly wish the organization all the best in terms of the anniversary coming up, and I certainly hope that it will continue to grow. Because it's something good that started, and it has been over the years. It has assisted a lot of individuals in terms of what they do. Because I certainly remember a lot of folks tell me they've been assisted by the Mothers Union over there, especially folks who attend the St. George's Anglican School and of course the St. George's what's it called, the girls' school. The Anglican High. Anglican High. A lot of assistance were offered through your organization, and the benefit has been overwhelming over the years. So certainly happy to know that. I hope that it will continue and grow from strength to strength.
And we must know that in Grenada was the first of the Windward Islands. Started the Mothers Union.
Interesting.
The first.
All right, so there's some serious history in there.
And then now we have all over all the islands, all the Trinidad, Tobago, everybody, they have branches there.
So it's interesting to know that. So it actually started in Grenada. St. George's grew to all our parishes and then moved to the other islands of the Caribbean.
Yes.
All right.
The other places like, the Windwards, St. Vincent, Dominica, St. Lucia.
Okay. All right. So, Mrs. Glenda Mason Francis, I want to thank you for popping with us this morning. Shared information you did.
My pleasure.
Certainly hope that, as I mentioned before.
I will try to get the other members, the present ones, to come and let you know exactly
what's taking place as the week goes ahead. I understand. So, thank you once again.
It's nice being here.
Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to meet you. I've always had that voice all the time and always wanted to know who that particular individual was. So it's a pleasure to meet you.
Who was a miserable little old lady. Yes,
I didn't look at it in that way.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I do appreciate it.
Have a good day yourself.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, folks, that's how we wrap up this segment of the Mid-Morning Buzz here on Classic 105 and GBN TV. And I once again want to thank Miss Francis for being with us this morning. It was certainly a pleasure having her. Join us again for another edition here on the Mid-Morning Buzz.